Hey friends, happy Thursday. It is time, excuse me, for another quick live video. I'm hoping that my voice and throat cooperate. I've been having some allergy, coughing spells, so I have to sip a couple sips of water. Bear with me. So I want to talk today about faith. And the reason I want to talk about this is because this is a question that I had earlier this week from a client, and I want to expand on it a bit more because I know that there are a lot of us who struggle with this concept, particularly when it looks like nothing's happening, or when it looks like things are going wrong, or it looks like it's all falling apart. So get this shared, and then let's talk about it. So, excuse me again, my throat is wacky, so I may be sipping water through this, but let's talk about faith. And I think that this is particularly important in the world that we live in currently, particularly, today with stuff happening every which way and life feeling very heavy, right? And so it can be easy to look at these life circumstances, whether it's personally, globally, or in any other area, and see the manifestation, the physical representation of, oh my gosh, these things are not working out. This thing is falling apart. The world is headed toward disaster, or has been headed toward disaster for, ever, right? It can be easy to live in that space if you have a view that is, or a belief system that's reactive, right? And so I don't want to get into a space of, discounting what's unfolding. What's unfolding is what's unfolding for sure. But I think that we have so much more power than most of us give ourselves credit for. And as this applies to our own personal lives, and as this applies to our families and where we live, individually, but also collectively and globally, this is a conversation we need to have, because we have more power based on where we focus our mind, what we choose to do in this space, and the energy that we have in making these decisions. Okay? So I want to talk about faith specifically because it is one of those things where I have a conversation with someone and they say, but nothing is working or nothing is happening. And you're telling me, like, I feel crazy to continue to believe or to continue to be in the space of trust and faith when literally nothing is happening, right? And so let's talk about what faith is. There's, of course, the more religious conversation related to faith, walking by faith, not by sight, right? But then this concept of simply trusting and believing that things are unfolding and that things are working, even and especially when you don't see it. You don't need faith when things are working out. When things are working out, you have the physical representation, manifestation that says, things are working out. I have money in my bank account. My health is good. My family is good. The world is good, right? But faith is not necessary. That's not even faith at that point. That's just things are working. It's good. But when faith needs to kick in, or when we're asking to continue to believe, faith is literally, like, the definition, or one of the definitions, is choosing, because it's a choice, to continue to believe that things are working out, even when it appears that it's not. Even when your external, even when your external situation and life and markers and, manifestations are telling you that it's not. And the thing that's really important about this, I have this overarching, what I call an umbrella belief that I have been practicing for years, and I continue to carry with me, that I write, that says, everything is always working out for me, even and especially when it looks like it isn't, or when it feels like it isn't. Everything is always working out for me, even and especially when it looks like it isn't. What does that mean? It means that I can only see what I can see. I have a very limited view and perspective of what is actually unfolding in my life and in the world. I can see the news, I can see the things happening, I can see my bank account, I can see and feel my body and health and all of that. But I can only see so much. And we all have a choice to allow what we see to be the sole thing that dictates what we choose to believe. If we are only believing and trusting and having faith by what we see, 9 times out of 10, we're going to simply be able to repeat what we see, right? But if we choose, and I use that word intentionally, if we choose to believe and have faith and hold on to the vision of what it is that we want to create, even when it doesn't look like that thing is happening, even when we have no evidence directly in front of us, even when the manifestation hasn't happened, then we are creating an energy, an intention, a vortex, opening ourselves to opportunities based on that vision. And that's what mindset work is all about. That's what belief is all about, right? So it is really, it's a less of a conversation about, oh, that thing is happening and now that is my belief. And then this thing is happening and now that is my belief. It's, what do I want to believe? What do I want to feel? What is it that I want to create? And can I have faith in that consistently, regardless of what I physically see? And if you can do that, then there's a lot of things that can unfold for you. You're open to new solutions. You're open to new opportunities. Now listen, faith does not mean you do nothing. Faith doesn't mean I sit back and I don't show up and I don't write and I don't talk to my clients and I don't do marketing, right? The faith that I'm going to reach a certain goal, or the faith that my business is going to continue, or that my book is going to be published, or whatever it is, doesn't mean I sit back and I just wait. It means that I, continue to move forward, doing the things that I know to do, while also doing the things that I feel called to do based in that faith. So the question I received earlier this week was, how do you have faith? Like, what are some exercises? And I want to talk about this specifically. What do you do to have faith when it looks like it's not working? And maybe even when nothing is happening, or it looks like the opposite, right? So here's what I do. And I have a list of things. So get out a pen and paper, excuse me. I apologize. My throat is just not cooperating. Get out a pen and paper, or go back and listen to this, replay if you need to. But the couple of things that I do is, the first thing is remind myself that my view is limited. What I am capable of seeing on a regular basis is simply based on my senses. It's simply based on my very human senses. I can see things, I can sense things, I can feel things, I can touch things, right? But there's so many other things that are happening in the world. So many things are happening in my body that I don't even recognize that are working, right? That I can't see. So many things are happening when you flip on the light switch that I can't physically see. The world is spinning. Things are happening. Like the things are happening and unfolding. And I use the term behind the scenes, in the ethers, universe, God, whatever you wanted to call it. But there are things that are coming together. There are conversations that are being had. There are people that are finding me. There are, scientists who are finding, cures for things. Like, there are things happening in the world that we can't see yet, that are solutions and answers and next steps to the very problems, questions that we have today. And I don't just mean globally or collectively, I mean individually. So when you have something that you desire, or you have something you're working toward, and you say, but nothing is happening, it's just not happening on a level that you can see right now. But if you trust and believe that these things are happening behind you, or these things are happening behind the scenes, and you continue to have faith and do what you know to do and do what you feel called to do, that connection is going to be made because you have had faith, because of your belief system. And you'll see on Monday, I want to talk about this idea of validating our beliefs. Like, we're going to find proof and evidence for what we believe. And I'll get into more of that on Monday, right? Excuse me. So remember that you can't see everything. There are so many things that happen in nature that I am so incredibly grateful for that I can't see, that I don't understand. But I know that it's there and it's unfolding, right? The same thing is happening in your life. So don't let this thing that you're not seeing currently cause you to believe that nothing is actually happening, because that's just not the case. So that's the first thing I do, is I remind myself that I can't see everything, right? The second thing I do is I actively and intentionally look for evidence that shows me, even on a small level, that things are working out. Whether for that particular question I have or thing that I'm dealing with, or just in general. And so the things I'm looking for, and listen, I will make a list, and I have in the past kept a note section in my phone or in my journal where I'm actively every day going, yep, I saw that sign. I saw a rainbow today. I saw, excuse me, a butterfly came across my path when I was thinking about this, or I saw repeating numbers, or I found money on the ground, or this person reached out to me. All of that stuff matters if you see it as evidence. But if you're just waiting for the full-blown manifestation to show up, you're going to be wildly disappointed, because that only happens once or twice. If you're waiting for that end result and you're not actively, intentionally practicing, seeking, and enjoying the journey to that thing, and you don't believe that that thing's going to happen until that thing happens, like, what does life even look like? It just looks like, if you look at the timeline, it's just a big long line with various spikes of moments where the thing has come to fruition. But that thing doesn't come to fruition in an instant. It comes over time, and there are signs, and there are synchronicities, and there are moments, and there are magic and miracles and all the things that lead up to that thing, right? And so when I am feeling, and I have felt this, right? I'm not perfect. When I feel like it looks like it's not working, or it seems like it's not working, or I'm questioning, or I'm doubting, or I'm having one of those moments, then I go back to, okay, well, what can I look at? How can I intentionally focus on the things that are working out? What are my signs? This morning, wasn't even looking for it, just here, appeared. Of course, I live in Hawaii, so it happens. I'm driving, cloudy, not even thinking about anything, and I literally see a rainbow coming out of the cloud, not like down to the ground, but out of the cloud and into another cloud. It's just this little arc. And it was just a moment, right? I wasn't questioning anything specifically, but if I were, and I saw that, that would be one of those things I write down. And I know it sounds cliche and, hokey and like silly to do, but for me, and for a lot of the clients that I work with, looking for the evidence changes things. It shifts your focus away from, this is not working, I feel stuck, I can't do this, I don't know what I'm gonna do, why is this not working? Like all the questions, and it immediately shifts your focus, shifts the dynamic to solution, magic, miracle, this thing is working, which changes your mindset, which changes your energy, which changes your vibration, which changes what it is that you are going to create, which aligns you with the solutions, with the things that you said weren't happening. Now you're going to start seeing how those things are unfolding. Does that make sense? So many of us have been taught, programmed, just through life, society, whatever, to focus on what is not working so we can fix it. And yes, there are many problems that we have in the world, and there are many questions that we have, and there are many diseases that we need to cure, and there are many wars that we need to end, and there are many things that we need to fix or improve. But we can't come at it from a place of focusing so much on the problem. We really need to be focused on the solution aspect, and that's a different energy. Okay? So, number 2 is look for the evidence. Start keeping track of it. No matter how big, no matter how small, if you see it, a repeating number, a quote that, comes across your path that you really resonate with, a video that popped up, whatever it is, jot it down. Okay? That's going to be really helpful. And if you've never tried it, try it. Third thing that I do is I remind myself of moments, situations in the past that have worked out. Things that have unfolded. Things that I thought weren't working, but then I had that miracle moment that reminded me that actually things are working for me, right? And when I'm working with a client, and this is kind of our first go round, I recommend that they write these things down. Write down the things that work out. Write down those miracle moments, because you're going to need them. You're going to forget it at some point. You'll need to go back to it. Since I've been doing this for a while, I can think of, off the top of my head, multiple things that just happened out of the blue, right? And it reminds me that things can change quickly, but I have to be open and willing to see that. And if I'm focused on, it's not working, I'm stuck, this isn't working, it's never going to work, it hasn't worked for this long, so what makes me think it's ever going to work now? Like, all of that is still the same energy of it's not working. So look at the moments that it did work. Look at the moments where it looked like it wasn't working and then all of a sudden it did. Or the moments where you had no information and it looked like nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden you had all this evidence that showed you actually things are working, and here's how. I promise you have that. You have those stories. You have those moments. You have those miracle, magical, situations that have unfolded in your life. Reflect on them. Remember them. Because whatever the situation is that you're dealing with, that you're questioning, is no different. I have a client that I work with, and every time I talk to her, she says, I have stories for you. And her stories just put a permanent smile on my face, because she has gotten into this space of trust and wonder and flow. So, I don't know if it's been easily, but so consistently, that she's always seeing these moments of how this thing that looked like it wasn't working out magically led to this other thing completely working out. That's how life works. Okay? So that's another thing that you can do. Remember of the past moments that have worked out. Excuse me. The other thing, the last thing I'll share, is I get imaginative. I get into my creative space and I go, okay, what are some of the most outlandish, potentially outlandish, crazy, wild, amazing, miraculous, like things that you could only read in a book or see in a movie? What are some of the most like incredible what if moments that could actually potentially happen? Because what we end up doing is we automatically go to doom and gloom. We go, oh my gosh, what if I don't have the money? What if this thing doesn't work out? What if I get fired and then, I can't pay my bills and then, I get sick? And like we go immediately to doom and gloom. Well, that's a creative kind of energy, but you have the same level of creativity for imagining how it might work out. And as silly or as, catastrophic some of those doom and gloom scenarios in your mind can be, you can go to the most majestic and crazy moments, right? So I play this game called the what if game. And I think of like, well, what if in this moment seems like nothing is happening? And I go, okay, nothing's happening right now, but I believe that things can work out. I believe that things can get better. I believe that there is some solution and I'm just not there yet. And so I'm just going to kind of get to neutral and do what I can do. What if tomorrow I wake up and the solution is there? What if tomorrow I bump into my soulmate and don't realize it's my soulmate and we live happily ever after? What if I get the call of a lifetime for a dream job that I didn't even know existed? What if? You're playing this game already and you don't even know it. 9 times out of 10, you're playing this with, what if this happens? What if we go to war? What if I never get healthy again? What if I never find my person? What if I never make enough money? What if I never get out of debt? And what you're doing is you're putting these kinds of scenarios and fears and doubts into the world, and you're believing more in those things than you are in the magic and the wonder and the things that can unfold, that are going to benefit you and support you. Completely different energies. And I'll tell you, it feels better to dream excuse me, about the things that can work out, and the things that might work out, and the things that feel good to think about, versus imagining the doom and gloom. And I want to say again, I am not perfect. So I occasionally go to the doom and gloom. I was there this morning watching the news. We are a military family. So anything that is happening with potential war gets my hackles up, puts me in that mental space. But I have to go back to, where is my faith? What do I choose? What feels better to believe in? Because that is the power that I have. That is the power that I have. And from that place, you will become inspired to take action, to reach out, to make phone calls, to make donations, to, get involved, to write the book, whatever it is. But what do you choose? What do you choose? Faith can feel really powerful. It can also feel really scary if you're not used to it. It can feel like you're like hanging on to nothing, and you're, having hope for nothing. You have nothing to like anchor you and hold on to. But if you just trust, and if you choose that while doing the things that you know to do. Again, faith is not sitting back and never doing anything. It's doing what you know to do. And despite what is happening and unfolding, trusting that things are working out. Now, I want to be clear. When I have that belief, that umbrella belief, I am saying I'm trusting that things are working out for me. I am not always saying I'm trusting that I'm going to be with this person forever. I'm not getting super specific. I'm trusting that I will always make this amount of money every single month. Like, you could do that, right? Like, you could have that kind of faith. I try to stay a bit more general, because for me, the specifics can get me into doubt a little bit more, and I see that quite often, okay? So faith is trusting that things are working out, even when it looks like they aren't. And it's opening you to solutions and opportunities and ideas and inspiration and next steps and opportunities that you didn't know existed. Faith feels better than doom and gloom. Faith feels like magic and wonder, and things can unfold even if you don't know how, if you can practice it. Now, your your relationship with faith may be different. But this is what I've come to learn. And again, I don't do it all the time. I don't do it every day. But generally speaking, I am in a place of trust and faith. And I choose to be there. And if I'm not there, I choose to put myself back there through those exercises that I mentioned earlier. Okay? Faith and trust is a choice. Belief is a choice. We all have the choice to move through life and let life experiences and the things that are unfolding dictate what we choose to believe. That can dictate how we feel. It can dictate what we do next. But that is not creative. That is recreative. That is recreating what we are already in. But we have to come from a place of new creation. What is it that we want to create for ourselves, for our children, for future generations? Right? And my belief is that my job, what I can do, is work through my own mindset, energy stuff, and hold faith that things are always working out, and do my part and show up. And part of that was showing up today and talking about this. And part of my part is writing this book that I'm writing. And part of my part is talking to my son. And part of my job is doing what I feel called to do, to give back, to support, to teach, to mentor, to share these kinds of things. And your part might be completely different, right? But in that action space, let's not forget that we have a choice to believe that things can and will get better, and that we are all a part of that. And again, I'm talking about this individually, collectively, globally. This applies to everything. So that is my chat. Those are some thoughts on faith. So much is going on behind the scenes that we can't even see. And I almost feel better not always seeing it, but trusting and believing that I have seen these things work in my life and in the lives of others and the lives of people around me. And so that is where I put my faith. That is where I put my trust. I continue to trust and believe, not 100% of the time, but as often as I can, that things are working out for me. They're working out for you. They're working out for us. And we all have a role to play, and we all have, actions to take. That is certainly in the process. But choose faith. Because what's the alternative? Just accept that this is the way that it is? Think about it. So that is my message for you today. I hope it is helpful. Come back on Monday because I want to talk to you about our mindset related specifically to the evidence that we find to support our beliefs. So I'll be back on Monday live for a Mindset Monday Live. And if you missed the tips and tools, the specific exercises that I shared earlier in this video, please make sure you go back and watch the replay. If you are watching the replay, feel free to comment below replay. I generally send this to my email list, post it on YouTube as well to kind of spread the word, but I would love your support. If you have questions about this, if you have challenges with this, feel free to post them in the comments below. I try to check in and respond to those comments as frequently as I can. So let me know, what questions you have. And if you have a topic that you would like me to talk about on a future Thursday video, feel free to reach out. Shoot me a message on Facebook. You can send me an email, send me a message, post a comment on YouTube, and let me know what you'd like me to talk about, something that, would be helpful for you. Okay? So in the meantime, I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Remember that I am here for you if you have questions, if you would like one-on-one support for your mindset to help you develop more faith or just help you create more of what you want in your life. I can definitely talk to you about that and we can see if we're a good fit to work together. Just send me a message or hop on over to my website and we will go from there. Okay? Hope you guys have a great Thursday and a wonderful weekend, and I will chat with you soon. Okay? Take care.